There's a lot of disputes in the world, and one of the worst ways to solve it is with war. Looking at you, Russia. Really looking at you, Russia. But anyways, what if everyone tried to get what they wanted in the world? So say we're gonna be having total anarchy in the world, not the political ideology, thankfully, but you know what I mean. So first, let's start with India. We have India starting off with the invasion of Pakistan, even though they're the good guy in this situation because they're kind of getting messed around with China and Pakistan. I'll be representing them with the color red because they are the attacker in this situation. So, because it's a surprise attack, they easily take their claim of Pakistan, which gets China in on the war. So, but with superior troops, India is able to push up. And if you didn't know, India also has much better helmets than China, which basically anyone does. But hey, India continues their push into Pakistan, is able to separate the country, causing Pakistan to fully surrender, which means China might as well surrender as well. So we're gonna be redrawing the borders. So we're gonna be erasing that, and we're gonna be giving India a little bit of China as well. So we're having India getting this part of China, right over here, which kind of frees Tibet a little bit, and India wants to kind of free them a little more, but they can't really do that now. Um, and then India cuts off Pakistan into two. Um, Over in Southeast Asia, we're gonna be having Vietnam going to war with China. This is because Vietnam's always been wanting that little island back, and I know some of you might be like, aren't Vietnam and China friends? They're both communist and they both hate America. Vietnam doesn't hate America anymore, that is. Um, After China was kind of being a bit of a bully over here, okay, they're still a bully over here, and they took this island from Vietnam. Vietnam and America started trading and they became friends. So over here we have the Vietnamese Navy just after the Indian War going through here. Now most of the Chinese troops are stationed around here, so it's not really going well. But there are some stationed around Hong Kong, so they can literally just be so cruel. Vietnam is able just to get a bit into the mountain, into that not the mountain, Jesus, the island, which I think it starts with an H, but I always forget the name. Until China is able to fortify the position. We have China mildly pushing back Vietnam until Vietnam decides to launch Plan B into actually just straight up attacking the Chinese mainland. So they start pushing up into China, especially using guerrilla warfare. This also causes Hong Kong to rebel and push up, which leads Taiwan into total war with China. So now we have China on multiple fronts right here, and we also have Japan joining in on this war because Japan, they're just Japan. So Japan starts pushing into China, and they take Nanking, do another atrocity because it's just basically tradition at this point. And we have Vietnam continuing their push through. Hong Kong and Taiwan are able to meet up with Japanese aid, and over in Vietnam's main goals, we have back to Vietnam's main goal, we have them taking over the island. So now we're going to be having China calling in their allies of Laos and Cambodia, which I'm just gonna get this over with, which Vietnam quickly is able to defeat due to their Vietnam out of all the countries in Southeast Asia, well, in like this part of Southeast Asia, are much more is much more powerful than its neighbors. China tries to call in Thailand and Myanmar to join in, but they refuse. And Vietnam is able to continue their push through and meet up with everyone. This also connects the Japanese line, and Tibet decides to be Tibet and rebel. So now we have a lot of stuff going around here. We also have South Korea surprise attacking the North Korea, which leads to a unified Korea, and Japan uses this to attack Manchuria. I did not mean to do that and make it look like the Japanese flag, but now that looks really good. Russia decides to stay out of this war just because they don't care, and then this leads to a Chinese surrender. We have Tibet being declared independence. Um, and now it's time to do some border war. Yeah. So over in Southeast Asia, we're gonna be having Vietnam get a pretty good amount of land. A bit of a spiral out through here. We're gonna be having them completely annex Laos and Cambodia. just for simplicity's sake, and because that looks really good on the map. Like this should be reality. And USA is pretty happy with this because Laos is communist, and the USA isn't the biggest fan of communists. Even though Vietnam's communist, can I stop saying communist? Jesus Christ! The USA is still happy. There's the point. We have China having to recognize the independence of Taiwan, Tibet, and Hong Kong. Which so now we're gonna have to redraw the borders of Hong Kong. We also have Macau being declared independence. Um, and we're gonna be giving Hong Kong and Macau a little bit more land. I had to erase that part because so I can make it look a little better. I see that's good enough. So over in Hong Kong, we have Hong Kong getting not too much land, but they get a little bit, and we have Macau also getting a little bit of land. Taiwan is able to get a substantial amount of China, but this is like a really populated area, and even though it doesn't look like much, but it's very populated, so they get that. Japan decides to take it just a little bit out of China because they'll take what they can get. And I'm keeping it there. That looks too good. Over in Korea, we have South Japan occupying Manchuria, and we have a unified Korea. And now I would give Manchuria to the unified Korea, but South Korea will have to spend like $1 trillion trying to get the northern part of Korea back into shape. I'm not kidding. That they would actually have to. In fact, many Koreans are opposing unification simply because of that, which I think is kind of stupid, but whatever. But using foreign aid, Korea will eventually be 100% united. And after some border debates, we have this Korea being created. Now let's go over to Africa. We have Somali and Somaliland. So after a protest happens, so there's a protest in a high school in Somalia in the Somaliland region. And with this, Somaliland massacres all of them so they can shut up. Now I'm not saying like Somalia is like that, but it can be. So with this, we have Somalia just getting sick of it, and they declare war on Somaliland, which doesn't really work because So over here we have Somaliland, quickly darting down into Somalia, and they're trying to get the upper hand. Over with this, we see the inclusion of Ethiopia into the war, although this is going to drag in Egypt into the war. We also have Sudan attacking Ethiopia, which leads to South Sudan attacking Sudan. And I know these two are kind of friends, not really though, but might as well do it. We also have Eritrea attacking the blue team, so now we're gonna have a whole debacle here. So Ethiopia starts pushing into Somalia, and Somaliland decides to connect with them. The push down begins, and it cuts off Somalia in two, completely wiping out the country. We all know South Sudan is pretty geared for war. If you watch Salmonella, you know that. So they were able to get a pretty good push into Sudan, just like the old times. They do a bit of a pitchfork encirclement, and they start up a spearhead. Over in Eritrea, I think that's how you pronounce it. We have it being completely wiped out by the blue team because it's pretty small, and they also start pushing into Ethiopia. Ethiopia starts pushing into Egypt, Sudan, Jesus, to connect it.